Hello, hi all, and welcome back to another edition of Crisis Talk, where we debate, discuss, and dissect the issues affecting the Black community. Today, we're going to be talking about the lack of representation and opportunities in the media industry that affects Black performers. My name's Palimi.
And I'm William.
And I'm Shy, and today we have a guest. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Jean, writer, director, actor, and producer.
We love to see it, the credentials.
He does it all, ladies and gentlemen.
He does it all. Just like Michaela Cole does it all.
Let's talk about it.
Michaela Cole was the creator of Chewing Gum, which was a show on Channel 4, and she's the creator of a show on BBC called I May Destroy You. And these shows, they're not necessarily a token Black show. The storylines are just not specifically targeted for just the Black audience. It's just a show, and it just so happens that the star of the show is a Black person, a Black woman. I think also that we love to see the opportunities that she provided and the fact that she went into this industry, but what I've realized is that Black people don't necessarily want to go into the media industry. And I just wanted to ask Jean, why do you think that is?
I think our big problem is we're scared of failing. We're scared of not being accepted, and we're scared of trying new things. Because I've been looking for actors, crew members for my project. I've been looking for Black people. I said, okay, top of my list, I'm going to look at Black people. Where's a Black camera guy from Manchester? Where's a sound Black guy from Manchester? And I found nothing. When I go on Twitter and I post a job, an acting job, if I have 30 applicants, 29 are going to be white, and there's going to be one Black guy or one Black girl who's going to be in London. And I'm going to be like, I don't have enough money to pay for your expenses, so I cannot go with you, and I have to go with a white person.
You know what? If you're listening and you are an actor or you know someone that is an actor, please DM the Base Productions Instagram and DM JBLB on Instagram as well.
Just DM us. Links will be in the description.
Please do, even if you have, no experience whatsoever, I'm going to make sure you've got the training. But if you want to be out there on screen, please do that, because once the ball is gone, it's going to be too late.
So, I guess ultimately here, the question is, why is there such a lack of access and opportunities for Black people in this industry?
One thing is that I feel like within the Black community, people don't want to go to the media industry because they don't feel like they will succeed. Yes, it's fear of failure, but also because of the disparities that is within the media industry, that doesn't allow for Black people to succeed. Black parents are then going to say to their child, don't go to the media industry or TV or whatever, not because they don't believe their child can't do well in it, but because they're just trying to set up their child to play it safe and to be as successful as possible. That's why they would say,
go be a doctor,
go be a lawyer, go be a surgeon. But yeah, go be those kind of roles, because at least in those kind of roles, it's not dependent on race. Don't get it twisted. There's still issues within those industries for Black people, but it is if you can do the job of an engineer, they're not necessarily going to care whether you're Black, Asian, or whatever. They're just going to want you to do your job. But whereas if you're a Black actor, they have leeway to do that more so. Go on, Shai.
I wouldn't agree with the idea that there are less Black actors. I'd say visibly it seems like that, but I also think maybe an issue with the fact, because for example, if you guys don't know, we're all from Manchester, based in Manchester, and whether it's for uni or just living there, and actresses and actors, say I'm born in Manchester or I'm from Leeds, if I want to be an actor or actress, I'm going to London. That's what usually happens. The guy who plays Eric in Sex Education, he's from I want to say Scotland, and he moved to London specifically for the opportunities there. There is definitely a connection with Black people going to where the opportunities are. For example, in England, we've noticed that there is a flight of Black actors from England to America, and that happens because of what? Lack of opportunities. in the UK, people like Michaela Cole are creating and facilitating their own content because the stories, the opportunities are just not there for them. So it's either you create your own content, or sometimes you have to sell your soul to the devil and play stereotype, or you go to America. And what people often choose is to go to America and try and get jobs there. And then that's how we have like people like Daniel Kaluuya, do you know what I mean, thriving over there. John Boyega, thriving.
Idris Elba.
Thriving.
For me, I'm not sorry. I'm not gonna say it's lack of ambition from those people, but I feel like at some point you need to know what you're doing. Do you just want to leave a legacy for yourself, or do you feel like you can inspire other people as well? Do you feel like you can create jobs? It's all about creating, and just like a football player not turning into a football manager, your career can just disappear like that. We need to, like, if we talk about great actors, we've got a lot of great white actors who are inspiring a lot of people. Like, for example, my favorite actor is Jim Carrey. He's a white guy, but he's so good. How many black actors are gonna inspire other generation? We've got to talk about that if you really want to switch completely and to have more black actors. We need to have people to inspire us and for people to travel and to go abroad. I don't know, but I'm not backing that. No, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not mad at you.
No, I'm mad at it. Me, sorry. Yeah, William.
And I just want to add, like, I do agree with your point. Like, it does like inspire you more when you see someone who looks like you achieving that thing. And on the surface of it, it does definitely seem as if there's more white. In fact, it's not even honest, there just is more white guys and women who are in them situations. But the issue is as well, I think the question is, why is it that, because it's not like there's not, black actors who are on the same level of talent, or if they were given the chance to prove it, are not on the same level of talent as like Jim Carrey or Leonardo DiCaprio or Brad Pitt and all these guys. I think there's definitely a question of what was stopping, the next Will Smith from becoming the next Will Smith.
I think we have an influx of, no offense, but white mediocrity, especially in acting. Do not tell me Kristen Stewart is getting all these jobs. Like right now, they're going to have her play
Diana.
Diana. Why? Who? You want her to play an icon? How? And this is someone who loved Twilight. I watched all their movies, but I know Kristen Stewart was not that girl. She's not. But the difference is as well, I think there is an aspect of nepotism in Hollywood, especially if we're going to talk about Hollywood in this case. Because, say, for example, Kristen Stewart, I was just looking into like who her parents are. Her dad's, I can't remember which way it is, but one of them's a screenwriter, one of them's a TV producer. Her parents, a lot of these actors, Gigi Hadid and Bella Hadid, sorry, not to add into modeling, but the media industry, and their godparent is like, not like Versace, but someone like that, one like big designer. When you already have family in the industry, it means it's more likely for you to just slip in there and get an edge in. They'll just be like, oh, put my daughter in this, please. They can do that. So I think there is an aspect of that, whereas white people or a lot of these white actresses can just be mediocre. Black actresses have to work like a million times harder. We've got all these amazing black actresses like a Michaela Cole or like a Taraji P. Henson who are doing the thing. They have range, but it's not being respected. It's not being acknowledged.
I think a certain part of accountability needs to be placed on these production companies and casting directors, and because they pull a lot of strings in Hollywood, and what's evident with people like Harvey Weinstein and them kind of figures, there's corruption within it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like being that guy saying institutional racism and everything, but I feel like there is an aspect of these big companies kind of wanting to keep things a certain way.
Exactly, and I feel like that causes issues within people, within the black community, when they are just trying to make a show that's just a show representing them. That's not necessarily the token black show.
Yeah, there's definitely a problem with the representation of black people.
Like, I want to ask a question. How were you guys? Did you guys see anyone growing up that you were like related to in any way, shape, or form that were black?
I grew up watching The Cosby Show. I don't know where I took myself to the 80s, but I took myself there. So I think that was a thing for me. And I think that's also a conversation that needs to be had about where has the representation gone? If you look at Disney Channel, if you look at black sitcoms, the money just isn't being put into showing Black people, Black families as it was done before. Like the 80s and 90s, those were harder times, but yet we had more wholesome representation back then compared to now.
Yeah, like, you know,
Like,
that's what Raven, The Proud Family, like,
exactly. And then now look at Disney
well,
Channel. Disney Channel is white. The kids growing up now don't have what we had. They have to go back and watch the things that we did.
It's low-key true. And the few Black performers who are getting roles these days, it seems to be the only Black roles that's left out there is gang members and drug dealers and baby daddies and all these.
Especially when you're starting up, because the start is the hardest. Let me tell you, the start is the hardest bit ever. Because for you to get your first gig, it's gonna have to be a stereotype, definitely, because that's how they look at you. Unfortunately, that's how they look at you. I was looking for an agent for the last 2 or 3 years, and I tried to join this agency where there was no Black people. So one other actors kept saying to me, you know what, if there's a Black role that's gonna come up, you're gonna be the one to get it. But that's not in what condition you want to get the job, though. You want to get the job because you're good enough, not because you're the only one. And that happened to me as well with my acting school. We had a showcase last year where I was the only Black guy to audition for a role. And of course, I was the only Black guy that happened to be on screen. It happened to me. So it's all about how many Black actors are there. Then again, we just go back to it. We need to have more Black people speaking up and saying like, yes, I want to be an actor as well. I want to try this. It's hard. It's not easy. But the more we have, the better. And if you go to Black Panther, which was the first, well, as far as I know, it's the only film where it's been...
It's definitely in mainstream Hollywood, the first, film.
Yeah. It was the first blockbuster that had a full Black cast and potentially a crew as well. But yeah, the full Black crew, which isn't normal in 2020. We are in 2020. How come there's only one blockbuster that's been fully casted and fully worked by Black people with the amount of Black people in the industry? Like, we all want to be superstar, but we need to, I think, direct our energy towards something that's going to help out the community as well. That's why I decided to have this production company. It's to help out other Black person. That's why I keep saying I need Black actors. I need Black people who want to learn how to use the camera. I need Black people who want to inspire, not just be stereotyped.
What do you guys think about forced diversity?
Well, personally, I like the heart and soul behind forced diversity. It's about, creating more opportunities for Black performers, which is something we definitely do want. But for me, where it's a bit sticky, because I believe there's a law now actually in Hollywood where there needs to be at least a certain percentage of BAME cast members or crew members. And it's like, I don't know. I think
that's true.
It's getting to a
No,
point.
you don't. It's very true, mate.
Yeah, so I think, some directors or some producers are just kind of like, okay, let's get this Black guy on, we'll pass our quota. Yeah. Rather than he's the best candidate or he's so talented.
But then I also think that positive discrimination is just a thing that like goes in all industries. And like, I think if you're just there for the token Black, as a token Black person, specifically when it comes to like films and stuff, you will then get people like stereotyping you even when you're working, even when you're just behind the scenes and you're not necessarily on set. People are as stoked to you as being the angry, aggressive Black person, even though you're not even on set. So it goes deeper than
and it goes beyond as well. Because it's like you do this one thing where you play a drug dealer, then the next director's like, yo, we've got another drug dealer part, and then all of a sudden
and then you're
only getting gangbangers.
Exactly. And then it goes also that even behind the scenes as well, people have to, I think that what you just said about the Hollywood is also about people behind the scenes and making sure that there's enough representation for producers, sound guys, cameramen, that like if you're only being given that role because you're Black and not necessarily because you are good enough for that job, I feel like it causes people to then just stereotype you in general.
Maybe not necessarily get typecasted as that, but what it will definitely lead to is people now starting to underestimate or take the mick out of your source. People will start doubting your source, to start being like, you're only here because you're black. You're only here because you have to fill a quote. And there's something where, now this resonates with me so deep. This is maybe an issue from like 6-7 years ago. And there was a leaked email, I think it was like 2013, 2014, it was years ago, from one of the Sony directors saying Idris Elba would be a good candidate to play James Bond after Daniel Craig retires. And the internet went crazy. They're like, what? You can't have a black guy playing James Bond? What? They just do this because they're black. They're forcing diversity. It's like, yo, Idris Elba would be a sick James Bond. He fit, smooth British guy, check. He's on smoke, check. Like, what more do you need to be James Bond?
No, I think it's true. I think there is something to say about what is palatable to white audiences and where they get this sense of entitlement to their outrage. Like, people are being outraged over the fact that Halle is playing a mermaid. It's a mermaid. They're like, oh, but she's white. She's a mermaid. She's not real. It's not like she's playing a person. So you will be outraged that Halle is a black woman is playing a mermaid, but you will not show the same outrage when Avatar: The Last Airbender, which was about Asian like representation, was literally whitewashed.
There's another place where this kind of like positive discrimination goes to, because I remember when Denzel Washington won his Oscar for Training Day. I know some people started, some people tried to play they're just doing it because it's time to be pro-black in Hollywood, and not because he deserves it. Because there was also, I think the other guy who was looking like a potential winner was Russell Crowe for his role in A Beautiful Mind, if I remember correctly. And, some people, they're trying to say that he won it out of the fact that he's black, not because his performance was just an enlightening performance. Forced diversity has it. I like the intention of it, but it does cause its own problems.
Like, if we go back to forced diversity and making your own content, but then again, I'm gonna go back to my own story, because based this podcast, I've lived through everything we're talking about. And making your own content, believe it or not, is the best thing you can do. Because why? First of all, if you wait for the job, you're never gonna get the job. It's hard. It's very hard. If you go in a room with 10 white person, like I've been before, and you're the only black guy, you might get the job because you're the only black guy. But if you're making the job for yourself, you're gonna do the job you want to do. Like, for me, Jim Carrey, like I said before, he's the best actor for me personally, and that's the type of actor I want to become. That means what? That means if I'm going for Jim Carrey and there's another white guy who's going to go for Jim Carrey, they're going to take that Jim Carrey, but they're not going to take me. Whereas if the film is made by myself, I can go for that. And black people, we have a problem with our community is not believing in each other for some reason. We just wait for people to make it, and then that's when we start believing. And it's so deep into it to the point where everyone give up, because people have given up a lot, and it's just going to carry on until we say, you know what, let's just stick together and make sure this industry, we're going to make something, let's say, brilliant. And in order for that to have more Black Panther, we need to stick together. You're going to say, I believe in fairy tales, but I think togetherness is so important for black people in the industry. If I go and I see a black casting director, I feel like the fear I had before is gonna drop, because I've never been in front of a black casting director. Let me tell you that I have never. We need more black people behind the scene, not in front, behind. Because the more we have black people behind the scene, we're gonna have more black people in front of the screen. That's how it works.
Yeah, because it's them. It's because it's them that it's the studios that control what shows we make. It's the executives at the top of, like, for example, Fox.
They pull all the strings.
It's them that pull all the strings. So we need them behind the scenes. And then I also want to mention Tyler Perry as well, because he created his own studio. He deviated from Hollywood and said in a speech that when Hollywood couldn't give me a seat at the table, I created my own table. I feel like that's really important. That's what black people should do. And I find it I feel like the point that Shine made earlier is that, like, back in the day where, like, things were so racist, was that there was still so many shows that actually showed black people in all their in all their greatness, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Proud Family, That's So Raven, and now these shows they're not out there when we are meant to be more diverse and like going against racism. I feel like that's really interesting, and like I feel like people like Michaela Cole are coming up to anti.
Issa Rae.
Episode of Rise. We could not do this episode without mentioning
Ava DuVernay. Lena
So,
Waithe.
people are coming up and they
Kenya
are talking.
Barris.
There we go. People are coming up to talk about black people are coming up to write their own stories, to write stories in general, so that our stories aren't being whitewashed.
I just wanted to make another small point about what you just said, because it all goes about how much Black history do you see on the screen. You don't see a lot, do you? You see Game of Thrones, you see Vikings, you see The Crown, and
Game of
all
Thrones
those
is not
TV
history, just saying.
Sorry?
Game of Thrones is not based on history.
Yeah, I know.
Actually,
I'm just taking an example, talking about, let's say,
GOT.
what life was like beforehand. Horses. I'm not talking about dragons and all that bullshit. I'm talking about life beforehand.
Yeah.
Apart from Shaka Zulu, I don't know if any of you watch it, but there's nothing else out there in terms of what was like.
If it doesn't
Sorry?
fit a certain narrative that Hollywood will allow us, they'll let us have a 12 years a slave or a cell, because it's like, okay, yeah, Black Pride and all the rest of it.
We don't want another slave movie. We already know we were slave. Like, okay.
But bring back Underground.
Man, but this episode can't end without referencing the disparities in pay, because we've got a lot of Black stars up there at the top. Not a lot, if you look at proportionally, but we've got there's a decent amount. But these guys are not getting paid the same kind of breads as these white actors are getting paid. And y'all know me, I'm a finance guy. That's a problem. It causes kind of a cycle, which leads to, these Black actors can never really, like Leonardo DiCaprio, if you're not going to drop at least 25 M's in his bank, don't even look at him. But Black actors don't have that same kind of power and negotiation positioning, due to the fact that obviously there's a shortage of opportunity, shortage of roles, which means less experience. Less experience means less pay. Less pay means, that's your worth is lower, quote unquote, which then means, when it's negotiation table, it's like you either got to take this job where you're playing a stereotype and you're not getting paid as much as the other cast members, or no job. So you just got to take that job. And now in Hollywood, you're only seen as someone worth 1 million when the counterpart was worth 10 million.
I think even then, though, even when you're a established Black actor or actress, it's just Monique, sorry. Everyone knows like the gravity of her history and her art. Like, as a comedian, everyone has seen Monique from time throughout our childhood. She's a legend, one would say, and there's so many Black actresses and actors who are legends, but it's just that the level that Black actors and actresses have to get to that legendary status is very different to a white actor or actress, because for some reason, white mediocrity is just okay, but not for us. We can never do the same as them. So even if you are hitting that mark, even if you are an Idris Elba, they're still not going to try to pay you the same. Like, they're not, because they don't see your art as worthy or as...
You need to be excellent.
Even with that, I feel like it's really important when it comes to Monique that Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock, they got paid a lot of money to do their Netflix special, and Netflix said that Monique was also a legend, but they didn't pay Monique the same as they paid Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle. So I feel like there's pay disparities within Black people, and then there's pay disparities that affect Black women specifically. And that also needs to be addressed as well. But this was a great episode. Leave a review, make sure if you're on Apple Podcast.
Follow us. However you can help us.
Yes, please.
Subscribe, rate, review on Apple Podcast.
And if you're an actor and you're looking for some business, our guy here, Jean, he's decided. There's no seat at the table. He created his own table.
Amen.
So give my guy a message, and he might give you a seat at the table.
Yeah.
But, by the end of the day, you gotta be talented. This is not a conversation of no talent. But at the same time, everything is learnable. Beaver, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed.
Thank you.
And
thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming on, Jean.
Thank you, Jean.
Man, take it easy, everyone. See you next week on Crisis Talk.